I'm going to show you how I'm going to focus my life for the next year, and I want you to come along with me. So most people have been through the boom bust cycle of New Year's resolutions. We make promises to ourselves that it's going to be 365 days of hardcore self-improvement, and that this year is going to be the year that I get my shit together. And I've been as guilty of that as anyone else. Eat better, sleep better, learn a new language, go to the gym more, work harder, love deeper, go on more trips. But as someone with ADHD, my to-do list is already overflowing. I'm still healing from the projects that I didn't complete when I was in my 20s, so I don't need more stuff to add to the shame pile. And the fact is that only 6% of people who make a New Year's resolution completely stick to it. But in working with my ultra normal members, something clicked with me about what focus means and how we can not only apply it to the new year, but just life moving forward. So if you're new, I'm Chris. I help fellow ultra normal brains focus, grow, and get stuff done. So the other day I had a revelation about focus. As an ADHDer who works with other ADHDers, we're always figuring out how to do things. And in fact, the question that I get the most is, Chris, how do I focus? How do I increase my sharpness? What do I do? And until now, I didn't have the exact right words. So I started showing my members this. So take a look at the flower in the first picture. Now take a look at the flower in the second picture. Why is it easier to focus on the second picture? Did you do anything different? Did you develop new focus skills in the last 5 seconds? No, there was simply less happening around it. So the revelation that I had is focus is not something that you do. Focus is a lot of things that you don't do. You know, we're never more than a click away from any experience that we want. If you wake up and want to chat to a stranger at 4 a.m., you can do that. If you want to learn basic Spanish in 30 days, you can do that. If you want to read every article about whatever war is happening today, you can plunge hours into that exact topic. There are very few barriers anymore. You can always find more to do. And 99% of people do exactly that. I mean, why wouldn't you? You have a computer in your pocket at all times. But the thing is that the more interests that we have, the more we want to do. And the more we want to do, the more we try to cram those activities into the limited amount of time that we have on this planet. There are 168 hours a week. And if, like most people, you work 40 hours and you try your best to sleep 8 hours a night, that's 50% of your week gone. So we want to do more. But I want you to take a look at this. Imagine these glasses are activities, interests, and tasks, and the liquid is our time. Here we have one activity and our time is invested into this activity. But when we try to do more things, this happens. We have less time for the first thing because we did thing 2. And then if we add another thing, then we have less time for thing 2 because we're doing thing 3. So the more activities you have, the less time that you have overall. And when you look at it like this, everything is going to take 4 times longer because you're spreading yourself thinner. And again, this is because focus is not something that you do. It's a lot of things that you don't do. And after that clicked with me, I started researching what people had said about focus. And I came across a quote by Steve Jobs that says something very similar. People think focus means saying yes to the thing that you've got to focus on, but that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that are out there. You have to pick carefully. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. When you think about life decisions, a job, marriage, having a child, moving house, you're not saying yes to those things. You're saying no to all of the other alternatives. So where am I going with this? Well, at the time of recording, we're about to go into a new year, and I'm not going to make any New Year's resolutions. I'm not going to make myself a list of things that I want to do more of. I want to focus more. And that means that I need to remove things from my life. So I'm scrapping a to-do list and I'm making myself a not to-do list. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to reflect on the past year. I'm going to take the time to give an honest look at what distracted me, what took my attention away from my goals and my values. And then I'm going to list them all out and start reducing those distractions in my life. And the goal of this not to-do list is not to create a schedule where, we scrutinize every second of the day. I like to think of this list as creating an environment where it's just easier to achieve goals. If you think about a greenhouse doesn't promote growth by bombarding the plants with excess food, water, and heat. A greenhouse protects plants from the outside elements. It cultivates the best possible environment for them to grow, for them to have a chance to thrive by themselves. And that's what I'm trying to do moving forward, is cultivate an environment to give my goals the best chance to thrive by themselves. So when it comes to a not to-do list, what things can we let go of? And before we jump into it, I want to hear that from you. Let me know in the comments what things you think you could let go of in the next year. So some suggestions for this could be things that are not in our control. Some of the biggest distractions that we have in our lives are things that we have zero control over, yet they take up so much of our energy. You know, we can't control people's opinions, actions, or ideas. We can't control past events. We can't control world events. Hell, we can't even completely control the outcomes of our own lives. So surrounding ourselves with things that is out of our control pulls our energy away from our goals and our wants. We can also let go of things that we're pressured to do rather than things are part of our values and our core. So things that come from like external motivation rather than like an internal or intrinsic motivation. We can let go of other people's goals for us so we can focus on the goals that we set for ourselves. So much of what we can do can be driven by fear of what other people will say, like our parents or our friends or, loved ones, strangers even. We can worry so much about what other people will think of what we do that we end up falling into doing what they think that we should do. And we end up really, really unhappy. So we can let go of those things. We can also let go of people. We can let go of people that take up time but don't add value. And, this is hard because no one really wants to let go of friendships or people, but sometimes in life, things just stop clicking with certain people. When you're both kind of taking each other's time up rather than adding any real value to the relationship? Or worse, someone who takes more energy from you than you can afford to give. Sometimes being a good friend is empowering the other person to figure out a solution on their own, not to be the crutch for them. So moving forward, we can start to let go of certain people that we decide to. We can remove the tasks, the chores, the busy work that takes up time but doesn't really add any value to our lives. There are lots of things that we end up doing that when we take a second look at it, it's not really adding anything to us. It's actually pulling away our time. So feel free to scrap these tasks, or if you can afford to, pay someone else to do them. You can also swap those tasks with somebody else whose skill set is more suited to doing it. We can also let go of blame. This is a huge one and probably one of the hardest. I personally spent a large chunk of my life blaming other people for my problems, for the situation that I was in. I even blamed my ADHD for a while. And the one thing that's really clicked over the past few years is that blaming is a temporary solution. It's kind of like a band-aid for your ego. In reality, we're all responsible for our own actions. Taking control of our feelings, how we respond to challenges and struggles. Letting go of blame is really, really difficult in the short term, but it does pave a path for an easier life in the future. It improves our relationships and it gives us more power to take control of our own lives. Truly, blame is an illusion of comfort. And if you want to know why comfort is a killer of growth, then I want to leave you with this video. So I invite you to join me in making yourself a not to-do list and start letting go of some of the things that are not serving our goals so that we can focus a lot clearer on the future. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you over in the next video.